That's from yesterday, right?
Yeah, it's the same ones. We'll finish it today and then I don't have them anymore. I get rid of them. So if you want to get them, you can get them online. Yeah, but that's counting weekends.
Not weekends.
It's 10 school days. Well, I mean, for you, a school day is kind of like a weekend. So it's not even.
I pay attention to all my classes except this.
You are a gentleman. All right. So which method should we use for this one? Yeah, I like elimination for this one. So let's do that. Why elimination? Both equations are in standard form. But I do not have matching coefficients, so we have to pick one of the two variables and make them match. Mikhail, you can still write this on your own paper, just because I didn't print it out, and it's not even like it's a long, like with the stuff that's pre-printed on other people's papers, it's not like this really, really long. The first page is, but you can get the first page later. This is just like really short, and you can just do like the caveman did. Yeah, you got off to a good start. Which one do you want to eliminate? You want to get rid of the x's, fine. So if we're going to get rid of the x's, they have to match up at 2. The top x already has a 2, so I would multiply then everything on the bottom. I can't just multiply the x, I got to multiply everything on the bottom by 2. Now, that'll make the 2's match, but in addition to that, I need the signs to be different. The top x is positive, the bottom x is positive, so if I only multiply by 2, they're all going to stay positive. So the way I could fix that is just to make the 2 that I'm multiplying by negative. Now the top equation stays the same. The bottom equation becomes negative 2x minus 2y is equal to 4. And I'll say I wanted to get rid of the x's, so she succeeded. The x's are gone. But when you eliminate, what are you actually doing? Go, Jonathan. I can tell you really want to say something. Go, say it. Say it. You're waiting for me to turn around. So just do it now. Go. Say it. No. When you're eliminating, what are you actually doing? You're adding, yeah. So when you add, the y's cancel out too. So what ends up? What do we end up left with on the left side? What is left on the left side? If everything cancels out on the left side, left. Just put up your hands like this, and then the one that makes an L is the left. So yeah, there's nothing left on the left side. On the right side, yeah, that's where you guys were getting the 12. But the whole purpose of elimination was to eliminate one of the variables, and I did that, but when I eliminated one of them, they both went away. There's nothing else to solve for. If I have nothing to solve for, that means I can't have one intersection. So this is either going to be infinite solutions or no solutions. Since the two numbers that are left are not the same, what does that mean? Yeah, it means that we have no solution. Did I do this one yesterday too or no? No. Okay. And I told you that today was going to be mostly like me giving you chances to finish them, but I do want to do one more. Like that, this should have been already the last one that I guide you through, but let's do this one together too. And not because it's harder. If anything, it's probably too easy and it would confuse some of you. What method, if I were to give you no guidance whatsoever and I just tell you, hey, do this on your own, what method would you choose? I agree. Angel, why would you choose substitution? Because what? Say it better than that. Something about a variable being inside or something. Because we have a variable that's already been isolated. When you have a variable that's already solved for, substitution is the way to go. But now where the confusion begins, because we had this whole talk yesterday about, what's the best way to get things done, and we agreed the best way to get things done is to have people do it for you. But the thing is, on this one, not only have they done step 1 for you, meaning the variable by itself, they've also done steps 2 and steps 3. Because I already have a numerical equivalent for x. I already know this system has to have one solution. I already know what x is going to be. I just need to find y. So I have to plug that -4 into the other equation Diana already started. So everybody has to catch up. So 3 times -4 is -12. Plus 12, 2y is equal to 32. Divided by 2. I told you on the test, these solutions are going to appear in the form of an ordered pair. So what would be the ordered pair for this system? Like, if I were to draw these two lines, where would they cross? Yeah, I already knew the x was going to be -4. Now I know y is 16. If you need some type of visual to attach to it, what would this line look like if I were to graph it? I'm just going to do like a rough sketch. Yeah. We've seen it on 3 assessments in a row. When you only have an x, what does that look like? Well, all lines are straight. It'd be a vertical line, right? Then for the other one, I guess just kind of take my word on it. It would look something like this. It would be with a negative slope. So all we're saying is that these two lines not only will cross once, but they're going to cross at that point. I maybe didn't do a very good job of it on these notes, but I did tell you yesterday, and I'll remind you again today. When you're solving systems algebraically, since you're not putting it on a graph, they're not obligated to give you the system with x's and y's. You might see it with a's and b's, or c's and d's, or m's and n's, or p's and q's. Like, there's a bunch of different variables. Usually the variables are right next to each other, but it doesn't. It could be anything. So if they don't use x's and y's, what order should you put it in when we write an ordered pair? What does the order in ordered pair stand for? If we use A's and B's or C's and D's, what do you? Well, with X and Y, we know the order. The X comes first and then the Y. But if we were to use two different letters, what order would we have to write them in? Alphabetical. All right, you guys do this one on your own. Raise your hand. This will be one of the easier ones we have today. Raise your hand when you have the answer. You already got it? Because you did it yesterday or you did it now? Oh, wow. I get one. You know what? Yeah, you know what? Normally I'd give everybody else a chance, but I don't think that's going to accomplish much. So go ahead. Yeah. Yes, give me the answer. What'd you get? Yeah. She tripping? You look nice. You got a haircut? Oh, like 4 days ago? Theo, what method did you choose? Yeah, I like, not because you have to. I also went through that story about that girl one time who only knew about substitution, but still managed to get an A on her quiz. So it's not because you have to use substitution, but since we like having things done for us, if we use substitution, that top y is already solved for. So what we want to do, Lord, you know this already because even though you weren't here, you watched the video. I'm going to get the value of the top y and plug it in for the bottom y. I'll be. So if I write the bottom equation and say x plus x minus 1 is equal to 3. All I did was I got this bottom y and I replaced it with an x minus 1. Really, I could have gotten away with, since the y had nothing in front of it, I could have gotten away without the parentheses, but it. Las ceritas se están llamando. No, Jonathan, don't get jealous. There's nothing. He could be your friend too. Si hace otro sonido, te lo voy a quitar. 2x is equal to 4. Since I was able to solve for one of the variables, that means that I have to have one solution. These are also going to cross once. I know that the x of where they're going to cross is 2. I don't know the y. The way I find the y is to get this 2 and I can plug it into either equation. Doesn't matter which one. And really, I can't even argue on this one that one is that much more easier than the other one. But which one do you think I would pick to solve for y? I'm going to use the top one because their y is already by itself. I can just say y is equal to 3 minus 1. So when I use, 3 minus 2. So when I use my fingers, y is 1. If this is the test that you're taking next week, what is the solution to this system? Were you here, Lord, when we did the graphing and the 2 lines crossing? That would have been Tuesday. How many days have you missed? 1 day or 2 days? So you were here. Kind of, sort of, maybe, but not really.
I know you can check it out at one.
That's true. Okay, do this one. Doesn't have any meters? What would happen if the meters found out? I'm gonna snitch. No. Yay. Anybody get it? Raise your hand when you get it. Say you got it. Anybody not named Thea get it? Let's see if Jasmine can get it. She seems to turn. You got it, Esme? Do you wish your name was Yasmin?
It's the biggest name.
JJ? Your friends call you JJ?
I wish.
That'd be a cool name.
You know what? For why he called JJ. Actually, it's J.
Do you know what Diana's friends call her?
DR.
No, they call her Diana. Her close friends call her Sleepy, but most people just call her Diana.
I call him.
It's clever because it's like if you got his name and you change the E and the O, so it's spelled angle, so that's good. Esme, no, you didn't get it? Jasmine, did you get it? Boy, I need both coordinates. Curse you, Mr. Romero, you foiled me again. I'll get you next time. Sebastian, did you get it? What'd you get? You're the man, Seabass. Good job. Yes, sir. What method did you choose, Sebastian? Substitute. No, don't say so. I'm just writing that shorthand. Just substitution. It's easier to say than to write. Yeah, you guys got a sub here. But it's probably one of the many days you've been absent. Yeah.
Oh, I probably wasn't here.
She tripping. All right, so the reason why we use substitution is because the bottom y is already isolated, so I get that value and plug it in for the top y. Here's something I haven't asked you today, but I did tell you yesterday. Not that this guarantees that you did it correctly, but what should be true each time after you substitute? If you did it correctly, what needs to be true that some people overlook and don't do correctly? I tried to emphasize this yesterday. Evelyn, te voy a quitar el teléfono. Está distrayendo. How many variables should I see after I substitute? Just one. Now you see two x's, there's only x's, so now I can solve. 3x plus 2x minus 2 is equal to negative 12. 5x minus 2 is equal to negative 12. Plus 2 plus 2. 5x is equal to negative 10 divided by 5. X is negative 2. Now that I know that I can solve for one of the coordinates, I have to be able to solve for the other one. You can pick whichever equation you want. What would be the smart one to pick here? Which one would be the smart one to pick? Oh, we're talking about variables here. What would be the smart one to pick? Yeah, I'm going to pick the bottom one. So y is equal to negative 2 minus 1. Negative 3. What would this solution look like on a test? What would it look like on a test? John, you writing all this down?
No.
Oh. What do you have? Crackers in there? Some saltines? Okay, see if you can do this one. Okay, are you scared off by the fraction? Did it anyways? Esme's gonna do it too.
What? Say it louder. Say it in my face. Hey, come on. Angels on fly, right? I look like a woman. Only pretty. How you feel?
Excellent. Say I'll give everybody like maybe a couple minutes and then if not, we'll here, let me just see what you got. I'll just tell you right now. You don't think it? Not a fraction. I'll bet it's gonna be on a piece. need me to hold on to that for you, man? So we are friends and we go back. I already wrote one person up today for phones. Last minute selfie. You already know. My fresh fade won't look as fresh tomorrow, so gotta take advantage. Jasmine, you got it or no? You scared off by the fraction? Just tell me what you got. Don't be scared. Sebastian, you got it? Angelito, what'd you get? Okay, can we agree on a method? What? Yeah, let's do something substitution. Yeah, I'm gonna write it down. Substitution. And the reason why that would be smart is because the first x is by itself. So I'm gonna get that and plug it in for the other x. So I'm writing this equation here. Follow along at home. Oh wait, I got to the x. I don't want an x. I want a 1/2 y minus 3. Okay. Then once I finish with the x, then it's the minus. Then the y, I used that already. Then equals, and then 10. And notice how I'm down to one variable. All I did was I got this x and replaced it with 1/2 y minus 3 because that's what the other equation told me to do. It's like they communicate with each other telepathically. And even though this fraction was the scariest thing ever, next to spiders, what's half of 4? So 2y, 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. We distribute. Minus y is equal to 10. Combine like terms like they do in the hood. What's 2y minus y? So y minus 12 is equal to 10. Plus 12 plus 12. Y equals 22. So Angel, you're saying that you got that far? So if you get this far, you can use whichever equation you want. This morning I had a student in first period that because they wanted nothing to do with that fraction, just went ahead and put that 22 in for this y. Cool. And then that gave me the perfect chance to then show you how it doesn't matter which equation you pick because I am not afraid of fractions. And I went and used the fraction one and I got the same thing. So it's up to you which one you want to use. The reason why I like the one with the fraction isn't because of the fraction, it's because x is by itself. So it's just 1/2. What am I going to write instead of y? 22. And then minus 3. So all you have to know is what's half of 22. Albie, do you know what half of 22 is? It is 11. And then if you borrow one of Lord's fingers, what's 11 minus 3? Lord is going to lend you a finger. Just use the 10 of yours and then one of his. And then tell me what's 11 minus 3. No, he got it wrong. It's 8.
He said 7.
If this is the test next week, what's the solution going to be? Yeah, remember alphabetical order 8, 22. Now, Thea, you're going to be bummed out by this because what I want to do now is I want to skip a few. I would like to skip to where you stood until you see my handwriting again. Because a few of them are printed and then you see my handwriting again. So skip to, you see this one here? Keep on going forward. You see. Yep. Mr. Romero, you're saying I did problems for nothing? Johnny. Yes, Papa? Paying attention? No, Papa. Telling lies? No, Papa. Look at the board. Ha ha ha. What would be the best method for this system? Yeah, why elimination? Because both equations are in standard form. And not only are both equations in standard form, I also have matching coefficients. Which variable already has the same number in front? Which variable, either x or y, already has the same number in front? The x. But Mr. Romero, is you crazy? The top x has a negative one. The bottom x has a positive one. Well, that's what we want actually. Like we want them to have the same number but different signs. So that's perfect. So that means I can already eliminate. That's what needs to be true before you can eliminate. But you also have to remember when you eliminate, what are you actually doing? You're adding. So 5y and negative y is 4y, and that equals 28. Notice how many variables are. Hey, you know what? I should have forced you guys to do this by yourself. How many variables are we down to? We are down to 1, so we'll just divide by 4. I know that these lines are going to cross once, and wherever they cross, the y is going to be 7. Then Evelyn wants to get that 7 and plug it in for either one of the y's. Which y do you want to plug it in for, Evelyn? No sé, muy difícil. Orly, you okay? He looks cozy. Angel, which one would you? It doesn't matter, but which one would you prefer to plug it into? That's fine. I would actually stay away from that. Not for me. I'll get the right answer either. But like, if I know why, what am I looking for? If I have y, what am I still looking for? And this negative in front of the x, I think would cause havoc to some people. Hey. So I would actually try to use the bottom one and say x minus 7 is 15. He's rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off him. It's 22.7. Edson. Yeah, that's true. He fell asleep the other day after the bell run. He had no idea. He stayed here the other day for like an extra 2 or 3 minutes. I don't wake him up. So you did that for like 3 minutes. You guys need your rest. All right, do the next one. This one you're doing by yourself. You have to be. I don't know about clever, but you have to at least remember yesterday a little bit because this one is not as convenient as the last one. Jonathan?
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to talk to people, just bumps up to me.
Dice que le gusta cuando le saluda en la pasilla. So.
That's good.
Quiere ser amigo con usted. He's supposed to be your friend, man.
I'm trying to get somebody.
He's trying to make friends. Did anybody get it? Mikhail, even though you were testing yesterday, you went back and watched the video, so you're all set. Did a Keynote Systems. Te vas a sacar un ojo. Mucho calor. Seabass, you got it? What'd you get? Yeah, I think that's right. So what you should have realized here, we still should have gone with elimination because they're both in standard form, but no variable is ready to be eliminated yet. Now it's close though. What variable appears to have the same coefficient? The y's. The y's look like they have the same number in front because they both have a 7, but we need them to have different signs. Right now they're both negative. So what I'm going to do is pick one of them. When I have the choice, like I do here, I normally pick the bottom one, and I'm going to multiply everything by -1. What happens when I multiply a number by -1? Change the sign, which is what I want. So 4x minus 7y is equal to 3. Negative x plus 7y is equal to 15. Now I can eliminate the y's. What are we doing when we're eliminating? So 3x is equal to 18. Divide by 3. X is equal to 6. Now I need to go back and plug them into whichever equation I want. It doesn't matter which one you pick, I'll just pick this one. Instead of saying x minus 7y, I'll say 6 minus 7y is equal to -15. How many variables do you see there? Just one, that's the important thing. So let's solve for that remaining variable. -7y is equal to -21. So where are these two lines going to cross? ¿Dónde crosso los niños? Hmm? 6, 3. Estás muy fuerte. All right, see if you can do that one. Who does Jerson? Sí, ¿cuál es la respuesta, Jerson? ¿Perdón? B. Falso. You know what? Forget it. Skip this one. I'm not gonna. It's not worth the time it's gonna take. There's gonna be a fraction here. Yeah, I'll just start. I mean, well, I'll do it for you because I don't like to give up. But See, what I would have done here is probably multiply the top by 2. Because I already see that the y's have different signs. So that gives me 6x plus 2y is equal to 10, right? And the bottom equation stays the same. What's 6x and x? 7x. What's 10 minus 2? So the thing is, we're going to get a fraction. The fraction doesn't bother me, but now you guys have to know which one to plug into to find the y. I'm not putting anything like that on the test, so.
No fractions on the test.
Yeah, it's safe to say, like, I don't like to make promises, but let's just say if there are, there won't be many. Next week. Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go back to where we left off. Let's go backwards. So towards the beginning, this is the last one right before we skipped ahead. Did you find it there? You probably had this one done already. She's having a good day today. There are no caps here, just facts. Miss Hiram? Not as much as Josh does. He needs somebody to pick on. It shouldn't take very long. This one should not take very long. The solution or lack thereof should become evident pretty quickly. Angel, you finished? What did you get? You got what? No solution? Let's see. What method did you choose here? I like substitution also. So I'm going to get this value and plug it in for the other x because that's what x is equal to. So when I do that, 3 times negative 5y plus 4 plus the 15y is equal to negative 1. Notice how I only see y's. So negative 15y plus 12 plus 15y is equal to negative 1. And as Angel said, and as I said as well, the solution becomes pretty clear right at the beginning because not only does one variable cancel out, they all cancel out. And when you drop the leftovers as if they were high, is 12 equal to negative 1? That's why there is no solution. Jerson, did you also get no solution? También sacaste no solución. Alright, how about the now? Actually, no, let's skip that one. Let's do this one. So skip one and then let's go to this one. 2x minus 8y. Johnny, you got it? Oh, because I see you trying to talk to somebody, so I figured maybe you're trying to give them the answer. You're a pretty smart guy, so it's possible you're doing it in your head. You know. No caps, just facts. Diana, do you have the answer? Why would you even ask that? She looks like she's sleeping. Jeez, it's like the same thing as asking Orlando for that. Why would you even bother? Doesn't even make sense. No, well, we don't want to bother. think Orlando's gonna hear the bell when it rings? I think so. He has the sixth sense. Yeah. I don't think so. No. Thea, you got it?
Yeah.
What'd you get? Yeah, I think so. So, Angel, we'll work with you. Which variable did you choose to get rid of? Let's see where you went wrong. I'm assuming we're elimination, right? We're doing elimination? Okay, so let's get rid of the x's. So you would multiply the bottom by -2. The top equation stays exactly the same. The bottom equation becomes -2x plus 8y is equal to -16. So you wanted to cancel out the x's, and you did cancel out the x's, but those silly y's, they also canceled out too. So we end up with 0 is equal to -10. Is that true? So no solization. Right, Johnny? You knew that already. He's been knowing that. All right, next one. Do that one too. Angel, you got it? This one should not take very long. Nah. Esme, do you got it? Oh, no, I said Esme, but I said Yasmi. Should not take all that long. Go ahead, Thea. Yeah. Thea, which variable did you, I'm assuming we want elimination here. What variable did you choose to eliminate? No, you gave yourself. Okay, so if you get rid of the x, then we're going to go times -2 on the top, so that now the x's will match, and I'll have different signs. But golly gee willikers, Batman. When I go to get rid of the x's by adding, when I add every other column cancels out as well. So what's left on the left side? What is left on the left side? What is left on the left side? Remember, put up your hands like that. The one that says the L is the left side. It is 0. What's left on the right side?
0.
Also 0. Is 0 equal to 0?
Yes.
Yes. So infinite. We can do like maybe 2 more. Yeah, let's do this one. I like it. I like it. It's genius. KO, Mickey.
Mickey. Mickey.
Raise your hand when you got it. I want to finish 2 more. You got it already, I'll tell you.
Color. How much is it cost?
It's 2. Jonathan, ya lo sacaste. Good one. Go ahead, Thea, because now we won't finish. What'd you get?
More, as you said.
Laura's really smart. What method did you use? Thea? Yeah, but see, the problem with elimination is that the columns are not lined up. So even though they're both in standard form, you're probably going to want to rewrite the second equation with the x coming first. And then when you do that, it looks like the x's are all ready to go, but they have the same sign. So you can multiply by -1 like we did earlier today to make the signs different. So the top equation stays as x plus y equals 3. On the bottom, they all change signs. So the x's cancel. Y minus 3y is -2y, and that's equal to -2. When we divide by -2, y is 1. You could use whichever equation you want, but I would assume most of you would probably want to use which one here to find the x. Angel, which one do you want to use to find x? Yeah, I'm guessing you're going to want to use the top one. So I'll just say x plus 1 is equal to 3 minus 1. X is equal to 2. So 2, 1. Make sure you put the x before the y. If it's an A and a B, put the A before the B, so on and so forth. All right, one more. Let's make it a good one. Okay, let's do that one. Let's just do it together because now we won't finish. What method should I use here? Substitution. So I have the y on top. I know that's equal to -x plus 15, so I'll plug it in there. So 4x plus 3 times -x plus 15 is equal to 38. All I did was I wrote the second equation. I just replaced the y with a -x plus 15. Once I distribute 4x minus 3x plus 45, don't forget to distribute, is equal to 38. Once you combine x plus 45 is equal to 38 minus 45, x is equal to -7. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the top one here, but be careful with this one. I think that this would cause people some issues because, yeah, y is by itself, but look, there's already a negative there. So if I put the negative that's already there, and then I put in the -7 for x, what's a negative negative?
Is that what's the negative?
Yeah, it is. So that 7 becomes positive plus 15. That's 22. So I end up with -7, 22. And then we'll call it a day there.